As Zanu PF National Conference kickstarts today, at the center of that national conference is whether Mnangagwa is going to push for the 2030 mantra. From the posters as well as the material that was used today at the National Heroes Acre, also looking at the pictures that are coming from Mutare, from those delegates who have started trickling in. It shows a clear indication that Tambuzo Mnangagwa is still standing on his 2030 mantra, but also on the other hand, retired General Chiwenga is still also adamant on Emerson Tambuzo Mnangagwa to tackle the criminals around him. And these criminals include Wicknell Chivayo and Gudawashe Takure. With here, I have information which demonstrate that retired General Chiwenga made serious demands, especially on Emerson Tambuzo Mnangagwa. And there are leakages left, right, and center. Greetings and welcome on your lovely channel, the Thonipani Global News. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. Like before, just allow me to read from where I got this from. It says, details of Vice President Constantino Chiwenga damning accusations against several local business mogul, including multi-millionaire tycoon Gudawashe Takure, of looting 3.2 billion US dollars from state coffers, including 45% of Sakunda Holdings that he says belongs to the ruling Zanu PF, are now fully out in the public domain. These are contained in his confidential document to the ruling party's top leadership and the political presented to President Emerson Mnangagwa on September 17. In his secret document to Mnangagwa and senior party officials and the Politburo, Chiwenga says Takure and others stole 3.2 billion from public resources and they should be arrested immediately. He goes on to say how 45% of Sakunda belongs to how 45% of Sakunda belongs to Zanu PF, lamenting that the party was not receiving any dividends or profits but donations of their money from Takure. Chiwenga said, Comrade President, these criminals and their associates, Takure, Wicknell Chivayo, and Petisai Scott Sagupanya and others, have been engaged in a brazen and systematic campaign and stealing from our government, and to date they have stolen more than 3.2 billion of government funds. He said public funds were looted through various payments, 1.9 billion United States dollars, 800 million, 238 million and 222 million, telling Mnangagwa. Chiwenga said, Tingarambe takatarisa banu bachiba more than US 3.2 billion in cash from our state coffers while our people are suffering out there. Even Mill is now running out because of maize shortages. While we are prioritizing paying these criminals, my hospitals are running out of critical medicines. And now the same people who are stealing our assets and resources are now using the resources to hijack power, corrupt our structures, and destroy our party. Comrade President, the time for silence and inaction is over. And we cannot allow these criminals who have stolen from our government and our party to start using the same resources to bribe fellow comrades and our structures to get their support, defend and protect them. Chiwenga added, these criminals are not just enriching themselves, they are using their stolen wealth to capture our party, manipulate state institutions and compromise key officials They are creating a parallel power structure funded by the very state they are destroying. This cannot be tolerated for a single day longer. In the process, Chiwenga also accused Takurei of stealing and concealing Zanu PF's 45% shareholding in Sakunda Holdings, held by Mvuto Investment Private Limited, an investment vehicle of the ruling party controlled through the National Reconstruction Group, never publicly acknowledged before, which was purchased in November 2013. Checks shows that the National Reconstruction Group was used to hide a secret stake held by Zanu PF in Kusena Diamonds, which was partly owned by the Central Intelligence Organization at the height of the Chiatswa diamond mining. Zanu PF initially had many companies which were destroyed through gross corruption and incompetence, mostly under Mnangagwa's watch as party secretary for treasury. An internal 2004 investigation by a Zanu PF 5-member committee chaired by the late David Gary Manzima showed how the companies were mismanaged and looted. Sakunda was initially into energy, mining, agriculture, finance, and construction. Its portfolio has now changed due to shareholding shifts, restructuring, and disposals. The public narrative is that Takurei is the co-founder and is the founder and co-owner of Sakunda Holdings with his wife Sandra Mpunga. He has said publicly that he sold his house in Westgate in Harare to start his business. Furthermore, he has, opened, I think it was wrong spelling there. He sold his house for more than 20,000 in 2001, just months after starting the company, with an initial investment seed capital of 7,500 US dollars. The proceedings from the house sale were used to buy 2 tankers of fuel, which helped kickstart the business. Takurei says his move paid off, with Sakunda eventually growing into one of Zimbabwe's largest companies. Since its establishment, the Zimbabwean conglomerate has grown into a major corporate giant. Though its history is marked by controversy, and accusations of using political connections and patronage to secure lucrative government deals. Takurei founded Sakunda in 2001, growing it from a small fuel distributor to a major player in Zimbabwe's energy sector. A business alliance with Swiss commodities giant Trafigura Group in 2011 gave Sakunda preferential access to the critical Beira oil pipeline from Mozambique, making big money in the process. Sakunda at one time secured a near monopoly on Zimbabwe's fuel imports, accounting for a major fuel supply share of the local market. It was, however, controversially stopped from business later for political reasons. Mnangagwa's economic advisor Eddie Cross has claimed that he was behind the removal of Sakunda from fuel business due to shortage and subsequent street protest, which happened in 2019, nearly triggering another military coup after the November 2017 purge. That year, Trafigura announced it had bought Sakunda's 51% share of their joint energy venture, seemingly to distance itself from Takurei, who was about to be put on United States targeted sanctions. Although many politicians have been removed from American and British sanctions, Takurei still remains on the list. He is the only Zimbabwean on the UK sanctions list. Investigations by organizations like Open Secrets and the Sentry say Takurai used Sotic International conceal his ownership of Zimbabwean mining assets and move millions of dollars in illicit financial flows. Following the imposition of sanctions of him in 2020, Takurai began restructuring his sprawling business empire. His vast mining interests were moved from Sotic and its subsidiary Landela Mining Venture into a new holding, Kuvimba Mining House, which was a majority state-owned before being bought by government. The Mauritian company that administered Sotic Capital Horizons said it terminated its relationship with Sotic and its shareholders after Takurai was placed on the US sanctions list in August 2020. Analyst says Takurai's labyrinth of corporate structures were meant to obscure his continued involvement in different business arrangements through shell companies and fronts. Takurai hardly comments on social media stories except on a few rare occasions. However, he has preached on how he made his money on his regular religious sermons posted on social media. So, as you see, retired General Chiwenga, according to this story, they saw the leakage of the and they recorded detailed the conversations which were intense between Mnangagwa as well as retired General Chiwenga, demanding the arrest of Tugudawashe Takurai as well as Wicknell Chivayo, and also detailing the corruption of these two and how Tugudawashe Takurai has actually captured the state assets as well as the state assets as well as the state itself, and how he was manipulating the resources he actually got from the state to then parachute himself into the top position of political power. So all these details are coming out as Zanu PF goes for its much expected to be dramatic conference currently ongoing in Mutare. Thank you very much for watching us. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. You can financially support this channel by pressing the join button and be part of our members who are the heartbeat of this channel. You can equally do so by pressing the thanks button and send us stars. Okanqube Umdane is signing off. Do remember to support my album and take it